What's going on, guys? So I recently got passes to see Alfonso Cuarón's Gravity, starring Sandra, Bullock, and George Clooney. And this was a movie I was going to see at TIFF when I went this year for the first time, but due to a change of circumstances, I ended up not going. I was pretty bummed out. But being able to see this movie so early kind of heals those wounds a bit. My friend got me really excited for the movie as the release date got closer by talking about the buzz and the type of movie it was going to be and just how awesome it looked. And for me, I was a little weary because I hate Sandra Bullock, and the long production of the movie seemed to be a sign of bad things, which normally is the case. But he still got me excited to see it. I was excited to see it so early. And about 15 minutes into the movie, after watching the opening scene, I completely understood why it took so long to make this movie. And that's because visually it's an absolute masterpiece. And the amount of care and detail that went into making this movie is unbelievable. I cannot really describe it is so good that I at no point thought I was watching a movie that didn't take place in space and wasn't shot in space. The amount of CGI that was used in this movie is probably like 80%, but I can't even tell you what scenes were what, because they combined so well and were so smooth together that I'm pretty sure Sandra Bullock and George Clooney stood in front of a CGI green screen and did everything that way. And I don't know how they made it look so well, because the amount of depth and detail that went into this is just so amazing. It's so hard to describe without being able to show you. But the camera floats around in space and moves, and there's just no friction whatsoever. It's so smooth and so crisp and flows so smoothly. It's unbelievable. The opening of the movie is a 17 one-shot uncut scene. And it's just amazing because it starts off on George Clooney's Kowalski character. And he's kind of just messing around. This is his last mission in space before he retires. And he's just worried about this record of being in space longer than anyone else. And he's just bickering back to mission control in Houston, telling jokes and stuff that he's obviously told before. And the camera's following him just glide around because he's got this mini jetpack. And Sandra Bullock's character is named Stone, and she's working on this satellite, and it's her first time in space. She's never been up there before, and the camera's following George Clooney and moving around with him, and then he passes by her, and the camera stops at Stone's character, or Stone, and kind of focuses on her. And then when George Clooney comes back around, it all of a sudden picks up with him and starts moving in circles again. And it's just so great, and Atonement is the only other one that I feel is nearly as good as this opening scene that's uncut, at least visually. If he did cut it, I don't know how he got away with it and made it look so natural. But this scene's so great because halfway through it, in the blink of an eye, things just turn into absolute chaos when debris comes at their station and basically creates a disaster in space. And Sandra Bullock's character ends up getting whipped around, and she starts spinning away from the station, and she's in just an absolute panic because there's no way for her to stop herself from spinning, and she's never been in space before, so on top of that, she's running low on oxygen. And all you hear that's the best part of this whole sequence is you don't hear anything because it's in space, so all you hear is her heavy breathing and her kind of like small cries in her suit. And you hear George Clooney's character kind of not yelling at her, but he's talking really loud, trying to calm her down, trying to get her to look at something visual to locate her position because he can't find her. And it's just an intense, amazing opening sequence that sets up the rest of the movie. And I don't think my heart ever stopped beating as fast after that scene, or that opening sequence. And then the rest of the movie is about them trying to get back to Earth safely, and they have to overcome a few more obstacles. And they're never repetitive because they're all different things that require different skill sets and sets up a different outcome for each scenario of sorts. it's one of those movies where you're like physically exhausted because of how much she had to go through, and because this whole movie is from her point of view. You experience what she goes through, kind of, and that movie accomplishes that very well. And the ending of the movie is something that I feel like it couldn't have ended any different based on what she went through, and it's just a great experience and an even better journey. And I just loved what Cuarón was able to do with this movie with such a small cast and such a simple but complex scenario. I hate Sandra Bullock, like I said at the beginning, but this movie, she is just absolutely fantastic in this movie. Doesn't do anything for me for her future movies because she picks weird movies, but she won an Oscar for The Blind Side, and this performance shits on that performance. Like, that just, I don't know why they gave her the Oscar for that one, but she's my front runner right now after watching this movie. And it kind of overshadows George Clooney because he's not actually in the movie a whole lot. It's mainly just his voice, not his actual character, because he's talking through her suit. And he does a fantastic job of portraying just a slew of confidence and emotions through just pure dialogue and listening to him, because you don't get to see him that often. And he just does a fantastic job, and I feel like he always gets overlooked when you talk about best actors working in Hollywood. But just an absolutely masterful directed movie with great performances and a great story. And this is the type of movie that makes me love movies and film, because it just tries to be different, and it actually is unlike anything you've ever seen before. And hopefully studios and other directors see this movie and go, hey, this is something that I want to try and experiment with their ideas and actually get the money to be able to experiment. And I mean, this is exactly what makes movies so great. And for that, I'm going to give Gravity a 9 out of 10. And it's probably my favorite movie of the year. I'd have to double check on that. But when it comes out on October 4th in IMAX 3D, I highly suggest you go see it. And if you liked my review, give me a thumbs up, like this video, and comment down below and tell me what you think of this movie and what was your... Yeah, forget about that. Comment down below and tell me your anticipation for this movie and what you want to get out of it. So until next time, guys, I promise my next review will be up faster than this one, because it's been a while since I've done reviews and I want to get back into it. So until next time, guys, see you later.